Confidence is the invisible force that alters how the world perceives you. It does not come wrapped in designer clothes, in the way your hair falls, or in the tone of your voice alone. It is much deeper, more profound, and more magnetic than anything physical. It begins within, an unshakable belief in one's own worth, and radiates outward in a way that transforms how others respond. Confidence has the power to take something often judged superficially, such as sexiness, and elevate it into a language of influence, charisma, and strength. What others may initially see as fragility or distraction becomes an undeniable aura of authority once confidence is interwoven into it. The truth is that confidence shapes perception because human beings instinctively respond to energy. When someone walks into a room slouched, hesitant, and unsure, the atmosphere shifts into one of indifference. But when a person enters with upright posture, steady gaze, and calm assurance, the same room lights up. People lean in, not because of the outfit or makeup, but because the energy demands acknowledgement. This is where the magic lies. Confidence is not about demanding attention loudly, but about commanding it effortlessly. It whispers power more effectively than a scream. Many people confuse sexiness with superficial display. They believe it is only about the skin that is revealed, the body that is showcased, or the fashion that is worn. But sexiness without confidence falls flat. It may attract eyes momentarily but does not hold attention. True sexiness is never just about the surface, it is about the belief behind the surface. It is the sparkle in the eye that suggests self-assurance, the smile that reveals self-contentment, and the walk that carries a rhythm of self-worth. When you exude confidence, your very presence redefines what others see. They no longer view sexiness as a weakness or an invitation to belittle you. Instead, they see a person who owns themselves completely, and in that ownership, there is strength. Imagine two individuals dressed in the same attire. One wears it nervously, tugging at the edges, afraid of judgment, shrinking under invisible gazes. The other wears it with pride, shoulders back, not asking for approval but declaring presence. The clothes are the same, but the message is worlds apart. One invites criticism, the other silences it. The difference lies not in fabric or color, but in confidence. The world does not see you merely as you are, it sees you as you believe yourself to be. Perception bends to conviction. Confidence also has the remarkable ability to protect against doubt. In many environments, people will question, dismiss, or even attempt to diminish those who dare to stand out. If you rely only on external validation, these forces will crush you. But if your foundation is inner belief, the noise becomes irrelevant. Confidence is like armor. It shields you from projections of insecurity that others may throw in your direction. When someone labels sexiness as unprofessional or distracting, confidence reframes it. It transforms the narrative from objectification to admiration. Instead of being seen as less capable, you are seen as multidimensional, capable, intelligent, and undeniably magnetic. The journey toward confidence is not instantaneous. It is cultivated through self-awareness, through failures that teach resilience, and through constant reinforcement of one's own value. It means waking up some days and not feeling radiant but choosing to stand tall anyway. It means refusing to apologize for occupying space, for speaking your truth, for embracing your appearance, and for celebrating your individuality. Each choice to stand firm plants another seed of confidence until it blooms into unshakable presence. And once you own that presence, others cannot help but notice. Society often thrives on contradictions. On one hand, it celebrates beauty and allure, yet on the other, it criticizes those who embrace it boldly. It teaches people to be attractive but modest, appealing but restrained, confident but not intimidating. These paradoxes can trap individuals in endless self-doubt. The key to breaking free is realizing that the world will always have opinions, but your confidence allows you to define yourself rather than be defined. When you internalize this truth, you shift from playing defense to playing offense. You no longer fear perception, you direct it. Confidence transforms perception not just in how others see you, but also in how you see yourself. It dismantles the inner critic that whispers you are not enough, that you should shrink, that you should conform. Instead, it replaces that voice with one of assurance, reminding you that you are worthy, capable, and powerful. And when you see yourself in that light, others have no choice but to mirror it. People respect those who respect themselves. They trust those who carry certainty. They admire those who shine without apology. Think of every leader, artist, or trailblazer who has made a lasting impact. Were they flawless in appearance? Not always. Were they perfect in words? Rarely. But what they all shared was an unwavering confidence that drew people in. They believed in their voice even before the world did. That self-belief amplified their presence, making them unforgettable. Similarly, when you pair sexiness with confidence, it ceases to be dismissed as superficial and becomes remembered as powerful. People are not drawn only to what they see, but to the energy behind it. Confidence also breaks barriers because it disrupts stereotypes. For generations, sexiness has been portrayed as incompatible with intelligence, leadership, or credibility. Confident individuals prove this narrative false. They demonstrate that one can be alluring and commanding, graceful and powerful, captivating and authoritative. This duality unsettles outdated norms and challenges society to expand its understanding of capability. Confidence turns what was once perceived as weakness into an undeniable advantage. It teaches the world that strength comes in many forms, and one of the most potent is the courage to embrace every facet of oneself unapologetically. It is important to understand that confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance seeks to diminish others, to inflate oneself by comparison. Confidence, however, stands independently. It does not need validation by undermining anyone else. Instead, it uplifts, inspires, and creates space for others to rise as well. When sexiness is carried with confidence, it becomes inclusive rather than exclusive. It communicates, I am comfortable in my own skin, and you can be too. That authenticity resonates more deeply than any superficial charm ever could. Confidence is also contagious. When one person stands tall, others are encouraged to do the same. It creates a ripple effect in communities, workplaces, and families. People begin to challenge their own insecurities and embrace their uniqueness. This collective empowerment reshapes cultures, slowly dismantling stigmas that have long bound people to silence or shame. What begins as one person confidently redefining perception can grow into an entire movement of self-acceptance and strength. The transformative nature of confidence is evident in daily interactions as well. Consider a simple scenario. Someone gives a presentation. Without confidence, even brilliant ideas falter, lost in stammered delivery and nervous body language. With confidence, even simple words resonate, holding attention, inspiring belief. The message is not just in the content, but in the conviction behind it. Similarly, when confidence infuses sexiness, it communicates more than appearance. It communicates certainty, presence, and authority. Confidence also teaches boundaries. It allows individuals to decide how they want to be perceived and treated. When someone is confident, they no longer tolerate disrespect, objectification, or diminishment. They set the standard, and others must meet it. This self-assurance shifts the balance of power. Instead of being seen through the lens of others' assumptions, confident individuals make others see them through the lens of their reality. That shift is one of the most powerful transformations perception can undergo. Every person has moments of doubt, of feeling inadequate, of questioning their worth. But those moments do not define the entirety of one's existence. Confidence is not about never feeling fear. It is about refusing to be controlled by it. It is about walking into spaces with trembling hands but steady resolve. Over time, those moments of courage accumulate, reshaping identity from within. That identity then projects outward, altering the way others perceive you. In essence, perception begins inside before it manifests outside. Confidence transforms perception because it communicates authenticity. People can sense when someone is pretending versus when someone is genuine. Pretending is fragile, easily cracked by criticism. Authentic confidence, however, cannot be shaken because it is not a mask, it is truth. That truth radiates through tone, through movement, through presence. It tells the world, this is who I am, and I am enough. And in that authenticity lies the ultimate form of sexiness, one that is timeless, commanding, and unforgettable. Confidence is the thread that binds together presence, allure, and power. Without it, sexiness is vulnerable to misinterpretation, to dismissal, to weakness. With it, sexiness becomes a weapon of influence, a force of nature, and a tool of empowerment. Confidence does not simply change how you see yourself. It rewrites how the world sees you. It turns what was once undervalued into something revered. It transforms perception, and in doing so, transforms lives. For centuries, people have tried to force a false choice: to be strong or to be sensual, to be respected or to be desired, to be seen as capable or to be admired for beauty. This false dichotomy has trapped countless individuals in an endless struggle, as though strength cancels out sensuality and sensuality diminishes strength. But the truth is far more profound. These qualities are not enemies. They are not contradictions. They are two sides of the same coin, and when they coexist within one person, they create a force so magnetic, so powerful, that it transcends limitation and breaks down every stereotype constructed to confine human potential. Strength is often defined by resilience, grit, and the ability to endure hardship. It is celebrated in moments of triumph, in battles fought and won, in obstacles overcome. Sensuality, on the other hand, is often misunderstood. It is reduced to something superficial, something only physical, when in reality, sensuality is an energy, a deep awareness of oneself, an openness to the beauty of the body, the mind, and the spirit. It is an embrace of one's essence and the ability to express it freely. When these two forces meet the resilience of strength and the radiance of sensuality, they do not weaken one another. Instead, they magnify each other, creating an unstoppable presence that demands recognition. Imagine someone who embodies strength without sensuality. They may be respected, admired for their discipline and achievements, yet they risk being perceived as unapproachable, hard, and distant. Now imagine someone who embodies sensuality without strength. They may attract attention, charm, and allure, yet without resilience, their appeal may be dismissed as fleeting, fragile, or shallow. But when someone dares to embody both, they hold the room in a way that is unforgettable. Their strength commands respect, and their sensuality invites connection. They are both admired and desired, both relatable and unshakable. This combination creates balance, and balance is where true power lies. Strength and sensuality can coexist because they originate from the same root, self-acceptance. To be strong is to accept that you will face challenges and to believe in your ability to overcome them. To be sensual is to accept your body, your presence, your energy, and to let it shine without shame. Both require confidence, both require authenticity, and both require courage. Without self-acceptance, strength becomes rigidity, and sensuality becomes insecurity. But with self-acceptance, strength becomes resilience and sensuality becomes empowerment. The world has long tried to define strength through masculine traits and sensuality through feminine traits, creating a divide that is both artificial and limiting. This divide has taught people to suppress parts of themselves, to believe that embracing one quality means betraying the other, yet history and life prove otherwise. Some of the most powerful individuals have demonstrated that tenderness and ferocity, elegance and endurance, beauty and might can live harmoniously within one soul. When strength and sensuality merge, they create multidimensionality, and multidimensionality is what sets apart leaders, visionaries, and changemakers. The coexistence of strength and sensuality is not just about personal identity, it is also about influence. Strength inspires respect, while sensuality inspires connection. Respect alone can create distance, connection alone can lack authority, but together, they generate influence that is deeply rooted and far-reaching. A strong leader without sensuality may be respected but not relatable. A sensual individual without strength may be admired but not trusted. Only when both qualities live side by side does influence reach its full potential, inspiring, guiding, and transforming those who encounter it. This balance also challenges the way society assigns value. For too long, people have been told that strength is the only path to credibility, that softness diminishes power, that sensuality disqualifies competence. These are not truths but constructs designed to limit expression. When strength and sensuality coexist, they dismantle these constructs. They prove that one can be a warrior and a dreamer, a protector and a lover, a strategist and an artist, all at once. They prove that complexity is not weakness but richness. To embody both is to reclaim ownership of narrative. It is to say, I am not one-dimensional. I cannot be boxed in. I am both fierce and tender, both powerful and graceful, both grounded and radiant. This reclamation is revolutionary because it teaches others that they too do not have to choose. They can be strong without suppressing sensuality, and sensual without abandoning strength. In that realization lies liberation. Strength and sensuality also coexist in the everyday moments of life, not only in grand displays of leadership or artistry. Think of a parent who works tirelessly to provide for their family, yet still takes time to nurture love, intimacy, and connection. Think of an athlete whose physical endurance radiates strength, but whose movements reveal elegance and flow. Think of a creator whose art speaks of resilience, but also of vulnerability and beauty. These everyday examples remind us that coexistence is not rare or unattainable, it is natural. It exists when we stop suppressing one side of ourselves to fit into someone else's expectations. The fear of blending strength and sensuality often comes from judgment. People worry that being sensual will make others see them as weak or unserious. They fear that showing strength will strip away their charm or softness. But judgment will always exist, no matter what choice is made. The question then becomes not whether others will approve, but whether one is willing to live divided or whole. To choose wholeness, to embrace both strength and sensuality, is to live authentically. Authenticity is magnetic. It silences doubt not because doubt disappears, but because truth is louder. When strength and sensuality coexist, even failure takes on a new meaning. Strength helps one endure setbacks without breaking, while sensuality allows one to remain open, vulnerable, and human. Together, they turn failure into growth, not bitterness. They teach resilience without hardness, openness without fragility. They teach that being powerful does not mean being invulnerable, and being vulnerable does not mean being powerless. This harmony creates not only success but wisdom. The coexistence of strength and sensuality also brings balance to relationships. In partnerships, whether personal or professional, strength establishes trust and reliability, while sensuality nurtures warmth and connection. A relationship with only strength risks becoming transactional, while one with only sensuality risks lacking stability. But when both exist together, relationships flourish with depth, passion, and resilience. This is true in friendships, families, love, and even collaborations. Balance creates bonds that endure. In a world that often glorifies extremes, balance is radical. Strength without sensuality can become dominance. Sensuality without strength can become dependence, but balance refuses extremes. It honors the full spectrum of being. That spectrum is where humanity is richest, where creativity thrives, where love deepens, and where leadership becomes transformative. Strength and sensuality together create not a contradiction, but a masterpiece. The most liberating realization is that these qualities are not static. They shift, evolve, and flow depending on the moment. There will be days when strength must lead, when grit carries you through. There will be days when sensuality must shine, when beauty, charm, and tenderness are the tools that connect you to others. And there will be moments when both must rise together, hand in hand, creating a presence so undeniable that no one can ignore it. Learning to embrace this fluidity is itself an act of wisdom. At its core, the coexistence of strength and sensuality is about rejecting the belief that you must choose between being respected and being radiant. You do not have to choose. You can be both. You can walk into a room and be taken seriously for your mind and admired for your presence. You can lead with determination and inspire with grace. You can endure storms with resilience and dance in the rain with joy. This is not contradiction. This is wholeness, and wholeness is the most powerful state of being a human can achieve. Wisdom is the key that unlocks the true potential of every trait, every quality, every gift we possess. Without wisdom, even the most powerful attributes can be misused or misunderstood. Sexiness, often seen as a double-edged sword, is one of those attributes. Left unguided, it may be dismissed, exploited, or turned into a source of insecurity. But when coupled with wisdom, sexiness becomes a force unlike any other, not a weakness, not a liability, but a weapon that empowers, influences, and inspires. It becomes a language of self-expression that carries not just allure, but also authority. Wisdom teaches that sexiness is not skin deep. It is not simply about clothing, appearance, or fleeting charm. It is energy, presence, and self-knowledge. It is the awareness of one's own uniqueness and the confidence to embody it unapologetically. Without wisdom, sexiness risks being reduced to something shallow, something only external. But with wisdom, it transcends the surface and communicates something deeper, a blend of self-respect, authenticity, and intentionality that cannot be ignored. The world often tries to define sexiness narrowly, confining it to standards imposed by trends, cultures, or industries. These standards shift constantly, leaving many people chasing validation instead of embracing authenticity. Wisdom breaks that cycle. It whispers that sexiness is not about fitting into someone else's mold, but about celebrating one's individuality. It says that real allure is born from self-awareness, from the courage to stand tall in your truth, and from the ability to balance charm with substance. In this way, wisdom transforms sexiness from something external and fleeting into something internal and lasting. To call sexiness a weapon is not to suggest manipulation or deceit. A weapon, in this sense, is a tool of strength, something that protects, empowers, and enables one to navigate the world with confidence. Wisdom ensures that this weapon is wielded with integrity, not recklessness. It means understanding when to use it, how to use it, and why to use it. Timing, context, and authenticity all matter. When sexiness is paired with wisdom, it is no longer about trying to prove worth. It is about knowing your worth and allowing others to recognize it. Consider how perception shifts when sexiness is used without wisdom versus with wisdom. Without wisdom, it may be seen as desperation for attention, easily dismissed or even ridiculed. With wisdom, it becomes undeniable magnetism, the kind that leaves a lasting impression, not because of physical appearance alone, but because of the presence behind it. The difference lies in intention. One seeks approval from the outside, the other radiates assurance from within. Wisdom also reframes sexiness as multidimensional. It is not just the sway of a walk or the sparkle of a smile. It is the ability to listen with attentiveness, to speak with conviction, to carry oneself with grace. It is the way intellect meets charm, the way humor meets poise, the way kindness meets confidence. When sexiness is multidimensional, it captivates not just the eyes but the mind and the soul. It creates influence that is lasting, because it is not tied to physicality alone, but to the whole essence of a person. There is also protection in wisdom. Sexiness without guidance can invite misunderstanding or exploitation. It can leave one vulnerable to being objectified or underestimated, but wisdom builds boundaries. It teaches that allure is not an open invitation. It is a reflection of confidence that demands respect. With wisdom, sexiness says, see me, but on my terms, admire me, but respect me, approach me, but do not diminish me. That kind of presence cannot be taken lightly, because it is backed not only by beauty, but by clarity and self-respect. Wisdom also connects sexiness to purpose. When used wisely, it can open doors, create opportunities, and build influence. It can be the spark that draws attention to ideas, talents, or missions that might otherwise be overlooked. Many leaders and creators have used presence as part of their power, not as a distraction, but as a complement to their skills. Wisdom ensures that sexiness is not the entirety of identity, but an accent to ability, a companion to intellect, a bridge to impact. It becomes a tool, not the whole toolbox. The fusion of wisdom and sexiness also challenges stereotypes. For too long, people have been told that if they are alluring, they cannot be intelligent, serious, or competent. This false belief has been used to undermine potential, to silence voices, and to restrict roles. But when sexiness is wielded with wisdom, those stereotypes crumble. It becomes clear that one can be captivating and credible, alluring and authoritative, graceful and grounded. Wisdom proves that these qualities are not contradictions but complements. The true weaponization of sexiness lies in its ability to disarm. Confidence mixed with allure, guided by wisdom, has the power to silence doubt and challenge assumptions. It shifts the power dynamic in any room. People may come with preconceived notions, but wisdom shapes perception. It shows that sexiness is not a weakness to be exploited, but a strength to be respected. It disarms prejudice, not through aggression but through undeniable presence. Wisdom also prevents sexiness from being misused. Without wisdom, people may mistake allure for manipulation, or worse, attempt to manipulate with it. But wisdom knows that real power does not come from deception, it comes from authenticity. Sexiness without honesty is hollow. Sexiness with wisdom is unshakable because it is rooted in truth. It does not play games, it sets standards. It does not beg for attention, it commands it. It does not diminish others, it elevates everyone who encounters it. The most profound part of wielding sexiness with wisdom is the way it inspires others. When someone embodies this balance, they give permission to others to do the same. They teach that allure is not shameful, that beauty is not fragility, that magnetism is not emptiness. They teach that one can be radiant without apology and respected without compromise. That inspiration can ripple through communities, encouraging people to embrace themselves fully rather than hiding behind fear of judgment. It is also worth noting that wisdom reveals the temporary nature of superficiality and the enduring nature of authenticity. Physical allure may fade with time, but the kind of sexiness rooted in wisdom, confidence, charm, kindness, and self-awareness only grows richer. It is not bound by age, trends, or standards. It is timeless because it comes from within. When wielded with wisdom, sexiness evolves into charisma, into grace, into presence that remains unforgettable long after appearances change. This timelessness is why sexiness with wisdom becomes a weapon. Weapons endure. They are tools of survival, of defense, of strength. In the same way, sexiness with wisdom does not fade when the spotlight shifts or when beauty standards change. It adapts, it persists, it continues to influence. It is not fragile, it is resilient. It is not dependent on external validation. It is anchored in inner truth. That resilience is what makes it powerful. The combination of wisdom and sexiness also builds legacy. People may forget exact words spoken or precise actions taken, but they rarely forget how someone made them feel. A person who radiates allure guided by wisdom makes others feel seen, respected, and inspired. They leave behind not just admiration but transformation. Their presence becomes a memory, a lesson, a spark that continues to live on in those they touched. This is legacy, and legacy is the ultimate mark of true power. At its core, wisdom makes sexiness a weapon because it transforms perception. It takes what some may see as superficial and reveals its depth. It takes what some may see as weakness and reveals its strength. It takes what some may see as fleeting and reveals its endurance. Wisdom does not strip away allure, it elevates it. It gives it meaning, direction, and impact. It ensures that sexiness is not something to be feared or diminished, but something to be embraced and wielded with clarity. When guided by wisdom, sexiness is not reckless fire, it is controlled flame. It lights paths, warms hearts, and burns through barriers. It does not consume for the sake of destruction, it illuminates for the sake of growth. It is not chaos, it is artistry. It is not fragility, it is resilience. It is not weakness, it is weaponry. And with wisdom as its guide, it becomes one of the most powerful tools a person can carry in their journey toward influence, success, and fulfillment.